Welcome to Code with Richard. This episode is Guess a Number. This will be a very simple game where the user will guess a number between 1 and 10, and if the user is right, then they will be rewarded and win. If they guess incorrectly, then they lose. I will introduce a new concept, which is a conditional. A conditional allows us to specify a condition. In this case, if the user's number matches the secret number, then they win. Otherwise, they lose. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is import the random module because we know ahead of time that in this game, the computer is going to create a random number for the user to guess. Now I need to create a message to start the game. And my message will be guess a number between 1 and 10. And the game will just print out this message. Once the game prints out this message, I need to get the input from the user. So I'll just create a variable called guess, and I'll just grab the input. So right now, well, I have a message, guess a number between 1 and 10. I will output this to the screen using print. Then the user will input a number, and that number is now in this variable called guess. I'm also going to create a secret number. And this is the number that the user is trying to guess. So I'm going to use random.randInt, and the two parameters I'm going to add are the lower and the upper bound inclusive. So this will create a number between 1 and 10. And now I can introduce a conditional. So what I'm going to do, it will say if, and I'll add my condition here. And so I'm going to convert my guess into a number using the int function. And I'm going to say, does this equal my secret number? And if this is true, which means does the user's input guess, which is now a number, does it equal my secret number, then they win. So let's print out a message here. I can say, yay, you win. But if they don't guess the right number, so we'll put an else, then I will print another message. Sorry, you lose. Is, and I'm going to put the secret number here, which is, well, first I need to convert to a string, and I'll put secret. So how does this work? There's a condition here. So if this condition is true, so if the user's guess, which we convert to a number, is equal to the secret number, then we're going to print yay, you win. Otherwise, if the guess is not equal to the secret number, then we'll print sorry, you lose, the number is, and we'll print out the secret number. So let's go ahead and run this. And we notice that there's actually an issue here on line 13. And I think what we need is we forgot to put a closing parentheses. So let's run this one more time. And here is the start of the game. Guess the number between 1 and 10. We'll say 1. Oh, we lose. Let's run again. 1, we lose. Well, this game seems like it's pretty hard to win, so maybe we should make some adjustments. Instead of guessing a number between 1 and 10, which is a little bit hard, maybe we should guess a number between 1 and 3. So what I could do is I could come here and replace the 10 with a 3, and also come down here and replace this with a 3. But instead, let's create another variable called max, and let's say our max is 3. So here we can print this out as max. Again, I added this little f here, so then it can interpret the max as a variable, and we'll change max down here to instead of a 3, we'll use our variable max. Let's go ahead and clear the screen and run this again. We'll guess number 1. Oh, I lost. Let's keep guessing 1, and I won. So now you can see that it's a little bit easier to win, and I use a variable max to use in my message to the user, and the same variable in this line right here, where I'm generating my secret number between 1 and max. So what happens if the user runs this, but they don't actually put a number in? So if I just push enter here, we get this error, invalid literal for int with base 10. So the problem here is this function int. This int expects a string, which we're giving it, but in this case, if we just push enter after asking for the input, the string isn't empty. There actually isn't a number inside of it. So what we can do is we can add another condition here to catch for that. So we know that the problem is that the variable guess, so guess, is empty. So if this is an empty string, then let's do something. Let's print out a message. You need to specify a number. Let's go back here, and we change the code. So what this does is the first thing it does is if guess is an empty string, in this case the user did not enter a number, then we'll print out the message you need to specify a number. Otherwise, we'll check if this is true. If the guess is equal to their secret number, then they win. Otherwise, they lose. Let's run it again, and I'm just going to push enter, and you can see that now it asks that I specify a number. And if I do specify a number, we can see that I have a chance of losing as well, but I can also win. One thing to note is that in this conditional, the if and else, the order of this matters, because if I checked for the condition, this condition first, we would still get the error because guess, if it's not a number, then this will have a problem. So in this particular case, we have to check that guess is an empty string before we call the function int on the variable guess. And there's one last simple case that we can check for that can make this game a little bit more fun. Because if you notice, if you run it, what if I put a big number like 100? It says I lose, but maybe it shouldn't even allow me to give you a number that is not between 1 and 3. So there's some simple things that we can do as well to fix that. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a variable for the min, because this variable is referenced in a couple places. It's referenced in this message that we're outputting to user, and also in the secret number. So we can change this to min as well. So I know that the first thing I want to do is check that the input is actually exists, and the next thing I want to do is check that it's within the right range. So I can add an elif here, and I can convert my guess into a number. And so if this number is below my minimum, or this number is above my max, maybe I can have another message here. I can print your number is out of range. And let's go ahead and run this. And so we can do the same thing. We can put 100 in here, and it correctly says that my number is out of range. And you can put a lower number in here that's also out of range. We can check that if I just push enter and don't give it a number, this says I need to specify a number, and I can also play the game as intended, and I notice that I lose, and eventually I should win at some point, and here I do. Thank you for joining Code with Richard today. In this episode, we created a simple guess a number game. We also learned about conditionals, which allowed the game to print out different messages depending on if the user guessed correctly or not. Also, if they inputted a number that was out of range, and also if they didn't specify a number, we had a different message for that case as well. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.